Yeah, we're all set. We're ready to go. So you're ready to go. Good? Oh, sorry. Maybe on the belt? Belt? Maybe the belt will be better.
Oh, I'm on. Hello? Can we get started, please? Welcome. People. People. Hello.
The Lord be with you.
Yeah, the Lord be with you. All right. Thank you for coming. So back earlier this year, January, February, we did, many of us, like 93, participated in the Congregational Assessment Tool Survey. And the purpose of the survey was to identify our strengths, our challenges, and where we want to go in the future as a parish. And it was administered by an organization called Holy Cow. And what they do is that they take the data that is gathered from the survey that we did, and they compare it to thousands of other churches where they've done similar surveys and gathered similar information. And so what the survey results tell us is how we compare to these other churches in various categories. And so there is, as you all know who did the survey, there were a lot of questions asked. And so we have a tremendous amount of data which has been put into this survey. And so the purpose of today is to give you an overview of what the survey showed. And also, I am technologically challenged, so when it comes time for me to do more slides, be patient, and I will do my best.
All right. Let's see, I'm on now, so thank you. I'm joined with Pam in thanking you all for coming and attending this afternoon. And as Pam said, we got a lot of data back from the organization that ran this. What we're going to try to do is give you critical information from the survey as results, as well as some thoughts and recommendations that have been generated by the Holy Cow organization after they have analyzed our data. So what are we going to do today? We're going to talk about where we are now as a parish, where we want to go, what our priorities might be as shown by the data that was collected from all of us, who we are, what's our culture, what are our values, and then we want to conclude by talking about what happens next with this. So let me start by where are we now? So here's a question. On the whole, I'm satisfied with how things are in our church. 65% of us said clearly agree with this statement. 30% of us on the border said on the fence about whether I'm satisfied or not. 5% disagreed with that statement. 5% were dissatisfied. So how do we compare with other churches? Our results are in the average range for this question compared to other churches. Here's the next question. On the whole, participation in church activities is very meaningful to me. How many people said clearly agree? 63% said we clearly agree with that statement. 33% on the fence. Maybe yes, maybe no. Halfway in between. Disagree, 4%. Again, how did we compare with other churches? Our results, again, are in the average range. Okay? Yeah, we're average here, but Wait
get-
till
we
we
get
get
better.
a little bit further. So, now one of the things that Holy Cow does is they look at an energy satisfaction map. And so on this map, if I get the pointer to work, it worked a while ago. Now it's not going to. If you look at the horizontal axis, you see they measure low satisfaction to high satisfaction. All right? And then on a vertical axis, they measure low energy churches to high energy churches. Excuse me. Yes, I apologize. Thank you. My wife will always make sure I'm right. So you can see, you can end up in one of four quadrants. High energy, high satisfaction; low energy, high satisfaction; low energy, low satisfaction; high energy, low satisfaction. So where do you think St. Jude's is? Anybody guess? We are in the high energy, high satisfaction. But we're not way up in the high energy, high satisfaction. Okay? We are in that quadrant, but we're not way up there. So, what are things that drive satisfaction on that grid? Here are things that showed up in our survey results. Worship services at our church are exceptional in both quality and spiritual content. Our pastor articulates a clear vision for our church and keeps it before the people in a compelling way. Our church welcomes and is enriched by persons from many different walks of life. Our pastor communicates with people in a way that keeps us informed and connected. Among most of our members, there's a healthy tolerance of differing opinions and beliefs. So these are high satisfaction drivers for our parish based on our survey results. Now, what drives energy in that grid? For us, our pastor articulates a clear vision for our church and keeps it before the people in a compelling way. That's our top energy driver. Our church does a good job helping each member understand that they are called to ministry. Our pastor has ensured the development of a plan to care for those members in true times of need. These are all energy drivers. And here is the here's the last one. This is an energy driver for us. There's a disturbing amount of conflict in our congregation. So, based on our survey results, that's one of the energy drivers. So, I am going to let Pam talk again.
Okay, so be patient because I'm going to hit the arrow. So, the top 10 ways to enhance satisfaction. So the first item, an area to act on soon, is what the survey said was the most important, and that is tolerance of differences. So that's something that the survey said we should give a lot of attention to. And there are several areas to discuss, but are less important than the first one. And these are clergy present for needs, clergy has a pastoral plan, clergy articulates vision, worship is excellent, clergy listens for feelings, clergy brings out the best, clergy communicates well, members called to ministry, and clergy preaching relevant. So what do you notice about the areas to discuss soon? Many of them involve the clergy. And so what does this tell us? It tells us that we are a clergy-focused church. So what does that mean? Congregants view all church experiences through the lens of if they are satisfied with the clergy's performance or they like the clergy. Clergy focus does not necessarily mean clergy driven. And in a clergy-driven church, the clergy does everything. We are not that. A clergy-focused system is not indicative of good or bad health. There can be a chaotic, transformational, reinventioning, and static churches that are clergy-focused. So our conversations tend to be around, we should be having conversations around how the church is doing and how it can be improved, and we should do that involving more lay ministry. To avoid clergy burnout, it's good to make an effort to empower more lay ministry in the activities of the church. So what are our priorities? Where do we want to go? And what the survey said, our priorities are what the survey told us we should be paying attention to. So what are those? Make necessary changes to attract families with children and youth to our church. That was a very strong indicator throughout the survey of attracting families. Develop and implement a comprehensive strategy to reach new people and incorporate them into the life of the church. Provide more opportunities for Christian education and spiritual formation at every age and every stage of life. Create more opportunities for people to form meaningful relationships like small groups. Develop ministries that work toward healing those broken by life circumstances. Strengthen the pastoral response of the church in serving people in times of need. So what is our culture? So we are going, I think this is going to work now, we hope. Okay, so we have another map. And what this map has a vertical axis where the culture is adaptable or settled, and it has here we go. That's a horizontal one right there, and that tells us if we have a progressive or a conservative culture. And so churches can be essentially 4 different categories. They can be progressive and adaptable. They can be progressive and settled. They can be conservative and adaptable, or they can be conservative and settled. Where do you think we are? We are progressive, adaptable.
Way up.
Yes, way up there. We are highly progressive, highly adaptable. So, what does that mean? An adaptive, progressive culture at its best is a powerful ally for those with minority status or those who lack the power to protect themselves. Embraces meaningful changes necessary to engage in a changing society. Is inclusive. Overcomes temptation to overcommit. Develops a clear and compelling vision for the future. Generates enthusiasm that leads to action. Develops interpersonal skills that prevent being misperceived as unapproachable or impersonable. Balances larger issues with the need to develop and maintain meaningful relationships. And understands that emotions play a significant role in the call to action. And so the survey says that we, as adaptive progressive, exhibit all of these characteristics, which is a very good thing.
So let's talk now about how we're doing, our performance indices. And there are a number of different characteristics or features that the survey data measures. So I'm going to run through those and then I'll talk about where we are with each of those. Hospitality. Hospitality is a degree to which we perceive that we're engaged in offering ourselves to others and resources to folks who may have needs, different kinds of things that they require. Whoops, sorry. Second thing is morale. Positive, passionate, persuasive engagement of members in the mission of our church. And the question is, how are we doing with morale? Conflict management. The degree to which members believe conflict is appropriately managed and wherever possible, resolved. Governance. The degree to which members believe the decision-making structures and processes of the church are open to their concerns and input. Spiritual vitality, the degree to which members believe their faith is central to their lives rather than peripheral or episodic. Readiness for ministry, the degree to which a church has helped members identify their gifts and connect them to ministries that fit those gifts. Engagement in education, the degree to which members understand that Christian education is a lifelong process and believe that the church provides developmentally appropriate opportunities and makes them accessible. Oops, sorry. Last one, worship and music, the degree to which members have a vibrant worship experience. So we have 8 different performance indices, and we've been given measurements on each of these, comparing us to other churches. Where do we fall with respect to these 8 different measurements and with other churches? So this is a graphic illustration. With respect to hospitality, we're way up there, up in 76% or 78%. Morale, also very high, 69 percentile of all churches. Then we get to conflict management, 36th percentile we rank. That's great. Governance, 82nd percentile, so way up in governance. Spiritual vitality, we ranked in the 19th percentile compared to other churches. Readiness for ministry, 79th percentile. Engagement in education, 38th percentile. Worship and music, 33rd percentile. So you can see out of the 8 things that were measured, we're way up on 4 and down in the lower part on 4. So. So what does this tell us? According to our consultants, we need to pay attention to worship and conflict management. These are drivers. Governance, because that helps with conflict management. And we need to shore up our spiritual vitality and education to be our best selves. These are just things that this is telling us where we need to spend some energy. So Pam, back to you.
So, as a recap, what does all of the data tell us? We lean towards a clergy-focused system with a strong desire to grow and do ministry. Improvement or energy is wanted in conflict management, education, worship, and music. And the priorities are for growth and welcoming new people, meaningful relationships, and ministry. And there is a possible tension between internal pastoral care and external outreach. In other words, wanting our clergy to both be responsible for pastoral care, but also reaching out and trying to engage new members. And so we have to be sensitive to that. And that goes back to the idea of trying to engage more laity in ministry and not expecting the clergy to do too much. So, according to the survey, recommendations are to work on the foundation, to maintain flexibility, which is important for change and to accomplish our top priority of welcoming new people. Hospitality, again, welcoming new people. Readiness for ministry. Keep empowering the laity for ministry of all kinds to help people use their gifts in ministry. And it also, again, also helps mitigate the risk of clergy focus. Governance. Continue to build trust through transparency in sharing information and decision-making and asking for input and feedback. And what the survey also gave as far as recommendations to explore and address: conflict management. Continue to make space for differences in opinion and views. Work on finding common ground in purpose. Learn deep listening practices. Worship and music. And you'll notice these are, if you go back to the speedometer graphs that Steve showed, these are all categories where we were less than 50%. We were on the low side of that. Education. Explore what people are looking for and be creative about how to deliver that. And build relationships and pathways, which is a priority to build trust. Creating intentional pathways to small group communities is essential if the strategic goal is to attract and integrate newcomers. Explore and build processes for inviting, greeting, orienting, and incorporating new people. And be curious about the experiences of newer and younger members.
Right. So that is the summary of what we had got as feedback from all that survey results at a top level. And what we would like to do now is to ask for your feedback and reflection on what you've heard and what you saw today. So we have Pam and I, Festus is right here, Sue Raymar, SJ, and where's Amanda? Amanda's right there, okay, right in front of me. Each of us will be sitting at a table, and we'd ask that we reorganize ourselves to have at least 5 people in addition to the 6 of us, or each one of us, plus 5 of you, if more if possible, if we need to. At a table, we have some questions that we'd like to go through over the next half hour, 45 minutes, and get your feedback to what you've heard today. You may agree 100%, you may agree 50%, you may disagree completely with what you've heard, and that's what we're looking to do. Our task as a visioning team is to work on essentially a look forward for our parish. Where does this parish want to be in 3 to 5 years? We're charged with trying to articulate that, to provide that to the vestry, to eventually adopt for the potential of a strategic plan or a vision plan going forward. This data is not the be-all, end-all. This is just a starting point for us. The next step is for us to get your input, and then we'll be working with that input plus this data and other steps as we go along over the rest of this year. Our target is to have something done by the end of this year for presentation to the parish as a vestry and then parish as a whole. So for the people who are online, Cal is opening up a Zoom room for them to participate in discussion with Cal, and then the rest of us will be talking here. So let's take a break for just a minute, and if you can go ahead and find a table if you're not already at one, and we will get ourselves off and running here. Thank you. And again, thank you all for coming this afternoon. In a minute. Yep.